right, hey there, guys. Sam here with you. It's Friday, February 22nd, and by request from the members here, we're going to look at Cardano to the dollar. Now, so regardless of how enthusiastic you are about Cardano long term, I think we can all agree this is one of the ugliest charts in the entire cryptosphere. I mean, this is astonishing. From $1.30 to 4 cents. Just incredible, right? So looking at this distance, you say, why in the hell would anybody be thinking about buying this? Well, I suppose you can, we've analyzed this in the last month or so. You can make the case, zero is not too far away, so you got 4 cents of risk here. Now, before you Cardano lovers start flame bombing me under the comments here, relax, okay? So there are some signs of life here. But this is just horrific. The amount of capital is just horrific. Okay, all of that said, let's look at where we are here. I tell you the truth, I don't think the count, I don't even matters. Right? So can we get something down here to call a low? Well, yeah, we can get something. So now give it a little more perspective here. So we're going from, what did we get down here? 2 cents, and we're up at, we got a high of 5 cents. All right, so anyone who's suffered through this and stayed with it, I don't mean to make light of your pain. My first question would be, why the hell would you do that? Why would you stay long here? Maybe one day you'll be proven to be brilliant. But that's a shitload of drawdown to have absorbed. So, all right, let me pull this off here. So I did a brief update on Twitter on this. Again, I tell you the truth, I don't think the long-term count matters. What do we have here? I've got a pivot down here at 2 cents, 2.7 cents. Let's see if we can build anything that's constructive here coming off of that 2 cent low. All right, so you put it in this scale, and it starts to look a little bit better. So if this is a low, right, whatever, it does not matter what you call it. Doesn't matter, right? Where's zero? Zero's right here. All right, so let's say we've got a potential low. Call it what you want. I can get 5 down here. So I've got it's not unreasonable to think that perhaps there's a low, and then coming off of this, I get a nice little impulse, and it's technical to boot, right? So. All right, if this is the 2 to the 3, right? Golden zone to the tick, slight front run here. I showed this over on Twitter. This is likely. This is a front run. So they don't quite make the median line, and that's the only thing that would stop that. So you have a golden corner, right? So this is all teed up. You got 80% probability of getting there, and they just get denied by a few ticks. So that most likely what's happening here, and we can see why from the reaction, that's how we know it's likely an algorithm, that the buy here at the 618, they get this a slight front run on the target, too much selling kicks in, and down it goes. That's how we can identify. It's the reaction here. It's not the purchase here. It's the reaction here. Interestingly, it comes right back to the 50, bounces right back to that same golden zone. Now, this is just repeating some things I said over on Twitter, but if you didn't catch that, now remember, a failure to make the median line here sets up a move. This is trading principle number 4. Sets up a move equal to, or greater than the move that preceded it that failed to get there. So we go just a touch longer, slightly longer, but that's where we find the support. So interesting, right? We find it right in that same golden zone. So there's damn near a case that could be made here that with the failure to make the target, that's still in play. I think that's likely just a front run on the target, and with that sell off here, this rejection here looks more like that's software driven. So there would be, if we're gonna count this as an impulse off of a low, well, certainly that's a contender for a 1. Now the 2, so now if we're pulling, I got to go back to the absolute low. If we're pulling from the absolute low here, completed 5, we're looking for the 2. Well, of course, we know anywhere from the 50 to the 786. We get a slight break here, so we lose that buy side algo here, right? But then there's another one. So let me get this off here. So we lose a buy side, meaning that there will be a sell side algorithm. So if I pull here, right, but we've had a little break here on this side. So these out don't as I will tell you many times, don't feel sorry for them, right? They just stay with it until they get on the right side of it, and they will get on the right side of it. So those guys are neither one's in play here on this degree, on the 4 hour. Well, let me go to a 1 hour here, and we'll take a closer look at this. Okay, so let's come back here. So here's the long-term low. Oh, pardon me. Here's the potential 2. Let's get some perspective here. So here's the impulse into the 1. I got to bring these down so I can see where we are. So there's the 1. So now again, from this, if that's the A and that's the B, I've shown this before. Right? There's to the tick to tick. Right? You know, so we don't, again, we know what happened there. We don't have to wonder about it. That's what they do. Right? So they don't get the first one, they get the second one. That's again, it's not the sell at the 50, it's the reaction at the target. That's how you know it's an algorithm. Okay, so clearly we know what happened there. Okay, so, and the structure is all good. So I got a 1, 2, right? Good, all good, perfect. Okay, so what comes off of that? If that's a 1, 2, well, if I'm going to get a 3 here, and there is a long way to go. So if this could just be the 1, 2 of the 1. There's so far to go. But let's stay within this context here. I've got an impulse. I've got a technical correction. Whoops, sorry guys. I got a technical correction. And then coming off of that, I go again into an impulse. Now it's a little tighter down here. But it looks similar. I can get a 1, 2. Now this is it's a little bit of a judgment call as to whether or not we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this looks like it completes here, and then this is the tell. So we can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is technical as well. So if this is my 2 to my 3, well, so here's a perfect note what happens here. Perfect tag of the 50. Not enough legs. Comes back down. So it looks like we go A, B, C to get the 4 here. That looks like a better fit. Now we go up. Now eventually we get almost a third target. But this, because of this perfect tag here, this looks more to me like we've got the 5 in here. So if I look at the whole thing again on the assumption that we're complete here, we've completed the 1 of this degree. Well, now I'm going to go A, B, C. I don't quite make the 50, right? Doesn't invalidate here. It's just more common that it would make the 50. So we're between the 50 and the 38. Looking left here, there's nothing quite on it. You know, you had a little bit of structure here, but it held. So now we start to go again. So this looks complete. There's the correction. Well, again, I can go 1, 2. So that's on the assumption that that's 2. I can go 1, 2 here. Now here's why I think this is our 1. So this, I promise you, does not happen randomly. Okay, so that's a to the tick reversal. So thus maintaining the potential impulse. In addition to that, if this is my 2 here, and I'm just looking on the assumption that the 3 is in, what happens here? All right, so I promise you that's software. Okay, so here's the 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives me my 3. Candidate for the 3. Down I come for the 4. We hold to the tick. That's to the tick. Right? Touch the 618, push away. Well, if we come up here and we get this, well, now we've got a series of impulses coming off of that low. We've had impulse correction. Now, again, this would, if this is the 2, this would just potentially be the 1 of the 3 at this degree. So if now we don't know, but if we go up here and get this, and of course doesn't have to stop here, but if we, just for the sake of trying to put a roadmap together, if I get this to complete here, well, coming off of this 2, likely all I'm doing is completing the 1 wave of the next degree. So if I pull back here, okay, again, I don't have this here, but if this is what we're going to do, and I'm just trying to put together a roadmap here that would be reasonable, if this is going to finish here, we're going to go up, and this, of course, we could do this. This could just be the A wave, the B's going in, there's another kick down here. So there's potential here for this to reorient. But right now with this holding, I think, it's a tough call here. So because this is a straight move down, but it's technical, it's not uncommon for the A wave to go right to the 50. Now, if we see something like this, now if we're going to stay impulsive, we'll have to double bottom here, right? So that the overlap here would change the structure. Certainly, could still have a motive wave. We just have to rethink it as potentially a diagonal. But for the time being, it's technical enough here to want to wait and see. I wouldn't be buying it here because of the uncertainty here, because that's just one drive down. So you don't get you don't get this nice ABC like we had here. You just got straight down and a pop. Thus, I would be a little hesitant to be a buyer off of this as the 4 until I get a little bit more data here, because that's so just a straight pump. So this could easily be the B. Just going into the B. So down we come for the A, B's going in. Now if we come down, if we do hold above that low and we double bottom here, then we start to go, then it's going to start to look more solid. But until that happens, it's a bit of a hurry up and wait. Are we going to be able to get from this? Again, we have that algo target. So if we can get there off of this pivot, you're far enough away from this so that I wouldn't be chasing it here. Now, maybe if this goes a little further, you could look for something like this. If we get a little further here and we come down, we potentially for the 2 of the 5, and then you got a 3, 4, and a 5, something like that to finish it up here. Hang on, let's get this off of there. Oh, Jesus, I'm sloppy with the keyboard today. Okay, so if we get up to the 5 here. Okay, so now let's look at it. Okay, well, of course, we're going to put some median lines on it. All right, so there's the 1, the 2. All right, so that corner pocket, remember that was, just to refresh you. Okay, so here's a traditional corner pocket, not a golden. We just slight front run on the 50 here. So, but that 80% is realized right there. Right, there's your 80%, the corner pocket. Right now here, failure to make the median line again, falls away. Interesting. Now, so since that has been realized and we've fallen away, you could draw another set here. So I would use the secondary pivot. We know it was technical. Now that's going to be kind of steep, but look where that puts us. So, again, I'm just free drawing here. I don't know what that's going to look like, but if this certainly looks like an area of interest, if we're just, again, we're not going to do it likely not going to do it just straight, but if we did something like this, that would certainly finish it up nicely. You'd have your 3, 4, the ABC of the 4 is a little suspect here at the moment, but if I see something like that, then we're just going to allow for it. So we'd have a perfectly technical pivot here. Well, so if we get that, okay, now all that's doing, now you've got more confidence here that we can start pulling some of this off. Let's pull this off. Let's take this off. Let's leave it here. So if we get that, all that we're doing, so here's the larger degree 2. So that's not going to be far enough to be the 3. So all we will have done is just put in the 1 of the 3. So that would be the 2 coming, and 3, 4, and 5. You got to put them somewhere. So you'd be looking again. I do not know where that's going to be. So if I come down here and pull it up again, just got to put a roadmap together somehow. Well, interestingly, if we get there, look where that would put the 2 right back at this structure. So get this. It's a good idea to have a roadmap, but is it going to play out perfectly like that? Well, certainly possible. But if you got to have a roadmap somewhere. So is there a trade here? Well, maybe a little pullback here, because you could do it with so if you had a deep enough. I gotta say, I don't love the structure, but if you came back here to the 618, there's a relatively low risk play here, trying to get the 3, the 4, and the 5 of the 1 of the 3, if that makes sense. So if it comes back into this zone here, if we get a little retrace, that's tradable. See the oscillator's helping us at all? Well, this 3, 4, well, great example here. So here's a little divergence. So we get that. We get a slightly higher price here, but as I come over, this is the peak of the oscillator. This is where we get that price. That's some pretty serious divergence, but you would call the 3 here. So you were getting internal divergence. So the peak, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3 at this degree. So you can see the divergence here. Then we go to the 0, we get the 4, and then we get massive divergence on the last push up here. Now, it's not a radical move on price, but you've got classic divergence. Come down here for the 4, the RSI tags 30, and we move back up. So this is a contender for a play, but you got to be realistic about what you're anticipating in terms of a target here. So if that my preference to trade this would be to wait for this to complete. Let me know I've got coming off of this 2, that I've got a solid impulse. So I've got the contender here for the 1 of the 3. All right, so then this becomes an area of interest, in particular because of all of this structure down here. All right, so that becomes the area that I'd be looking at. So give me something like this. I'll be buying that with both hands. Or what are you buying at there? Back to 4 cents. Not a lot of risk. Right now, again, it's not the kids' tuition money, but you could be somewhat aggressive, assuming this completes this way. And all of this goes much higher. Much, much higher. All right, that's the one that I would be waiting for. That coming down here for that, I want that one. All right, guys, that's probably as much as I can add there here. So pulling it all back, it's possible, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so I got to just remind you of this. Underneath this, we will have this this entry that we're doing for three giveaways. You can enter underneath the link to it. You'll see it, membership giveaway. It's a little promo that we're doing. It's tied to tweets, likes, and shares on Twitter. So you can go over to our Twitter handle and learn more about that. The link will be underneath. You do have to register and use your Twitter handle, and then every time you like, tweet, or reshare, that'll get you a new entry. So there you go. All right, with that, I think I've got one more today. All right, but that'll be a wrap for now.